time we blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
What's up, guys? My name is Brendan, and the trick of the week this week is the BATIDO. First, I'll be going over the origin and terminology behind this trick. Next, I'll be showing you 2 methods for learning it, then some tips on how you can make it strong and stable, and finally, how you can progress to the BATIDO switch. So with all that said, let's get started. First, I want to talk about the origin and the terminology behind the BATIDO. This trick comes from capoeira, and if you want to see it thrown at its best, I recommend you go watch some capoeiraists throw the BATIDO in a circle. It's an amazing sight. But this trick also has a ton of different names in different disciplines. For example, I've heard breakdancers call this the Nike freeze because your legs make like the Nike swoosh. I've also heard sport martial artists call it the L kick for the same reason. Your legs kind of make the letter L. Regardless of what you call this trick, the technique is pretty much the same. And the nice thing about it is if you learn the BATIDO, you're also learning the Nike freeze and the L kick. This trick is the same regardless of what you call it or what discipline you get it from. Next, I want to go over how you can learn this trick. And there's 2 primary methods. The first is the cartwheel method. To do the BATIDO using the cartwheel method, what you do is you go into a cartwheel, but you don't give it enough power. You give it just enough power to end you in a handstand. And from that handstand position, you then pivot at the hips to kick one leg down as you bring one arm off the ground. The key thing if you're learning the BATIDO from the handstand method is you need to be really comfortable with controlling your cartwheel. If you give it too much power, you'll just go right over to the side, and if you don't give it enough, you'll end up falling right on your back. If you do the BATIDO using the cartwheel method, make sure you're controlling that cartwheel, going into it nice and slowly, and pivot at your hips to kill that forwards momentum to keep you from going all the way over. You need to control your momentum, go into the cartwheel slowly, and then hit that Nike freeze, L kick, or BATIDO position and kick that target. But that's the first method. You go into a cartwheel and then you hit that freeze position and then you exit by the same way you came into it, just by falling back in that same cartwheel direction. And that's the first method. You use that cartwheel to hit that nice kick and freeze. The second method for learning this trick is the handstand method. To do the cartwheel method, you went into it like a cartwheel to get into the handstand to then execute the kick. For this, we're just going to kick into that handstand, hold it for a moment, and then switch into that freeze position. The cleaner you can execute the handstand BATIDO, the better it will be when you do the cartwheel. What I would strongly recommend is learn both. Learn the cartwheel method because it's easier to combo, but also work the handstand method. Doing it that way will get you a lot of control and a lot of stability, so that way you're able to throw it in your combos. This trick is kind of tricky, no pun intended, but if you're able to do it with a lot of control, you shouldn't have any issues. Next, I want to give you guys 3 tips on how you can make your BATIDO look stronger and more stable. This trick can look so cool if you're able to combo into it fluidly and strong. If you're able to exit and enter this trick very well, it is a great way to combo different levels and to show that you have tricks from many different disciplines. So here are my best tips if you want to improve your BATIDO. Tip number 1, pivot at the hip. When you do the BATIDO, you need to kill all of the momentum that you use to set up into the trick, which is usually a cartwheel. So what I recommend is pivot at the hips and put that momentum in your legs. So that way you can kick nice and strong, but also so that way you can be strong and stable at the very top of the trick. Ideally, you want to freeze in this position for a small moment. And if you can put the momentum into your hips, it will make hitting that freeze a lot easier. Tip number 2, don't put in too much power. The biggest issue that I see when people are first learning this trick is that they kick up too hard and they end up landing on their kicking leg. Rather, what I strongly recommend is go into the al batido very gently and then slowly add power. The better your control and the more you're able to put that momentum into your hips, the stronger you'll be able to kick up. But in the beginning, when you're first learning this trick, approach it gently and add power slowly. Tip number 3 is to consider your martial intent. When you do this trick, you should think about what you're trying to represent. Are you trying to be like a capoeiraist and kick your target? Or are you trying to be like a break dancer and freeze in the middle of your combo? Deciding whether you want martial intent in your trick is super important. And that way you can mix it up. You can strike your target with a capoeira style al batido, or you could do a Nike style freeze and maybe grab your back leg and kind of rodeo the trick. Regardless of how you do it, considering your martial intent and being thoughtful about it is a great way to make this trick look stronger and cleaner. Finally, I want to talk about how you can progress to the al batido switch. This is a cartwheel variation where you execute 2 al batido kicks. The biggest prerequisites that I would recommend are a strong, stable cartwheel, and you need to have the al batido on both sides because you execute both while you're doing this trick. To do the al batido switch, you go up into your cartwheel and then you pivot at the hips right at the apex to execute the first al batido kick. Next, you continue that momentum and pivot your hips the opposite direction while placing support on your opposite arm. From there, you execute a second al batido kick and exit just like you would for a cartwheel. This trick is awesome and an extremely cool transition and is often very underused. It's a super cool trick, and if you have a good al batido, you can progress it to the al batido switch. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to suggest next week's trick of the week, please leave it in the comments down below. And if you want to support Mastering Tricking, please become a patron. We need more of you guys. I need the support from the community if I want this project to succeed. Thank you guys again. Please consider becoming a patron and have a lovely day.